should you summon on Mavuika and Citlali? Well, basically, yes, for the short answer. Let's get into the long answer, which is, well, how many Natlan characters you guys got? So Mavuika and Citlali's banner is actually pretty good. He's got Diona, which is honestly kind of a fading 4-star. I don't really use her a lot. You know, there's very minimal use cases for her. But Mavuika does need EM, right? So she'll be useful. But overall, the main issue is Mavuika herself, which is weird because she's an Archon. So basically, Mavuika needs Natlan characters. And I would urge a lot of you guys who are planning to summon for Mavuika, maybe, you know, wait off a little bit if you don't have Shieldin or Citlali. Because right now, we don't necessarily know how easily Kachina works. I'm basically gonna, as soon as I finish my summons, we'll be taking her into a team with Kachina, Fiorina, and then Bennett, right? Very common team, I would say. Everyone has Kachina. Bennett is a very popular 4-star. He's been in the game since 1.0. Fiorina is like the best support in the game to this day. So overall, I would say a lot of people can make that team. We just need to see what Pyro Archon's performance looks like on that team. Now, personally, I'm predicting the performance is actually going to be pretty good. I'm assuming that Kachina will be good. If you have to wait 1 or 2 seconds to do the rotation again, it's not really that big of an issue, I'm going to be honest. I don't think Kachina's E-skill cooldown is going to be an issue. I really don't. And there's also a situation of maybe you could use her burst to, you know, refill your points or something, right? It's very interesting. I'm saying that I think it'll be good. The thing is, I'm assuming that you're going to summon for other Natlan characters when they get rerun, like Shieldin when she gets her rerun, right? So that's a thing. I would not recommend, if you really aren't going to summon for Shieldin, you're not going to summon for Citlali and possibly any other future Natlan characters, I don't think Mavuika is a good option for you. I think that you kind of just like, yeah, you got to skip, bro. So personally, I think Kachina will fit the job for a long enough time for you to just save your primos, get Shieldin later on, and then you'll be smooth sailing. You'll have Fiorina, you'll have Bennett, it'll be fine, right? I think that'll be completely fine. Then Mavuika is going to be looking pretty good. Now, also, let's go ahead and let's look at Citlali. Citlali is going to be a massive damage increase for the Pyro Archon. She is specifically designed for the Pyro Archon, right? So maybe you have like 200 plus summons. Make sure you get Citlali, honestly. Over Fiorina is still possibly really good. I think Mavuika is going to get a pretty big damage buff from having Citlali or basically anything, so yeah. Now, let's talk about her sub DPS capabilities, right? Or her support capabilities, whatever you want to call it. She's able to apply Pyro off field, which is very useful for Natlan characters, so yeah, that's a really good reason to summon for her, I'm going to be honest. As a support for Natlan characters, she's looking pretty good. Mulanni support is going to be really good. Shangling sucks, alright? We hate Shangling around here. All my homies hate Shangling. So if you have a Natlan character that could use this character, I recommend you go ahead and, you know, summon for her. But that does not include Chaska, because I recommend Chaska mains basically go for Citlali, right? If you're a Kenichi Mulanni main, then, you know, good luck on you. Hope you get Mav, because those Kenichi Mulanni, I've already had people ask me about Citlali from Mulanni. No. Mulanni gets so much damage from Vape. There's no way a freeze team with Mulanni is ever going to be better. But yeah, Mavuika. And also, if you have Shieldin, go ahead and summon for Mavuika, because she can get her entire fighting point limit, and all you need is Fiorina or another way of, you know, melting or vaporizing, right? I haven't looked at all the options, but there is a possibility that Kaya at C6 could work, you know, maybe Rosaria, I don't know, but Shieldin should be enough just on her own to get you up to maximum fighting point limit. A lot of people are looking at the Night Soul gimmick wrong, because Mavuika recovers 80, right? That's herself. And then you have Shieldin, who also recovers 90, I believe. I think she does 90. But, guys, I'm going to be honest, I Went to Lose directly said and showed in his video, you fully recover your fighting spirit. So a lot of people are just forgetting that, you know, oh, 30 isn't going to randomly appear somewhere. No, 30 will randomly appear by you doing normal attacks and doing other things in the rotation, right? You know, like, it does go up, and it's not necessarily like, oh, 200 fighting limit, oh, we're still missing 30 even if we have Shieldin. I Went to Lose directly said, like, oh, Shieldin is enough to fully recover, or at least get enough to basically where it's negligible that, you know, you really don't have it, right? She's a very hard character to summon for. Mavuika, it literally just is going to depend how well she works with Kachina, and, you know, after that, you'll be able to summon for reruns of, you know, Natlan characters. If she doesn't work with Kachina well, then possibly I could just tell you guys, wait, summon for Shieldin, and then you'll get the Pyro Archon probably by the end of this version update. Sadly, that's what I have to say. Or maybe you could try and prioritize Citlali and then go for the Pyro Archon. But let's talk about what Citlali's going to do. Citlali is going to allow the Pyro Archon to melt. She's going to probably allow Arlecchino to melt. That's going to be pretty good because melt is an insanely strong reaction. She's going to decrease Hydro Res by 20% and Pyro Res. So it's very clear that this character wants to be used with Pyro characters at least. I don't necessarily know how Hydro characters are going to factor into this. That could be an unreleased character that is going to pair with Citlali very well. We'll have to see. Now, the Hydro Res is kind of something that I don't really understand why they gave her, but at the same time I do, because she's going to work very well with Chaska. If you're a Chaska main, I'd recommend, look at Citlali, see how good she is for you, right? Because, one, you're going to get interruption resistance, and two, because Hydro and Pyro Res being decreased for Chaska is really good. So overall, I'd say, if you're a Chaska main, go ahead and look at Citlali. She might be very good for you. But other than that, I can't really say anything. A lot of people are talking about Nevi, but I'm kind of iffy on that because it's 20% res. It's not really much else. You can also factor in her weapon to it because she's going to give 28% damage bonus with her weapon, right? So that's one thing. So she can give 20% res shred along with 20% damage bonus. It's gonna look pretty good. All right, let's be real. It's gonna look pretty good. It's gonna look pretty good. Oh yeah, the plunge characters, by the way, those might be very good. I forgot to mention those. But then you're replacing Fiorino on the team. Because the two characters I'm thinking of is Diluc and Gaming. You're replacing Fiorino on the team because you have Bennett, Sinew, and Fiorina. And Diluc and Gaming will be plunging and stuff, and they'll be melting. Also, Hu Tao. Hu Tao can definitely work with Citlali. You basically will be applying cryo and stuff, and that'll happen. Yeah, cool things. Citlali will probably apply enough cryo to make them melt. So all three of those characters will benefit. And then Arlecchino, there's a good chance that you want to run double cryo now instead of a team like this, right? Just because the melt reaction is so insane. And that's another reason why Mavuika is just going to be probably one of the best DPSs in the game, So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call her niche. I think that she's just limited, right? I wouldn't say she's niche. I don't think that she's stuck to one thing. I think she very well possibly could be used for freeze and then also melt, sort of reverse melt or whatever it's called, right? I do think either one of those work with her. I think she's just limited, not really niche, right? I don't think that she's specifically targeted one thing, because she definitely is very usable with, Chaska's case. I mean, hey, maybe we get, a team that is pure Hydro and Pyro, and this is the second character or the character that you use on it because it's got a good team, right? That's pretty good for me, right? I would say that's going to be looking pretty good. Now, let's talk about the weapon banner. So the weapon banner is pretty good, I would say. I like this weapon banner. I think you have C4 Yanfei, you have Baiju, you have the new 4-star, and you have, Citlali herself, who can use this weapon, this, owl weapon, right? It's a pretty good weapon, 28% damage bonus to the active character. It's going to be pretty good. And then also you have Mavuika's weapon, which is 11% crit rate, highest base attack in the game, 741, and then you got a whole bunch of stat buffs, which only last for 6 seconds, but at the same time, a lot of characters can use that. If you're using Diluc, you can use that. I mean, honestly, Diluc, because if you're playing Diluc, I doubt you're going to be really hard-pressed for maybe playing him optimally. I'm going to be honest. Maybe you don't want to play Plunge Diluc, because, Diluc isn't necessarily built to be a Plunge character. He just so happens now to be a Plunge character, right? I get why. I have Hu Tao mains all the time who would tell me, oh, no, the Hu Tao Plunge team isn't great, But, yeah, now... So, yeah, I would say this Claymore is honestly pretty good overall. I'd say it works with a decent amount of Claymore characters. And if you're summoning for the Pyro Archon, you might as well get it also because, well, get it after Citlali because Citlali is going to be a pretty big damage increase. But if you have enough to get the weapon too, I'd recommend summoning for it because this banner is really good. You have the Stringless, you have Sacrificial Sword, you have Favonius Codex, Favonius Lance, and then Lithic Blade, which isn't really anything to write home about. I'm going to be honest. Lithic Blade is the worst 4-star on here, and that's saying a lot because I'm pretty sure Lithic Blade gives you crit rate depending on how many leeway characters you have. Granted, we haven't had that many good leeway characters, and it's also a Claymore, which isn't really that great of a, leeway roster, I'm pretty sure. Is Beto the only leeway roster for Claymore? Oh, no, there's actually a lot of Claymore. You got Chongyun, Beto, Xinye, and Gaming. They're all 4-stars, and, 3 out of the 4 are kind of not really usable. But Gaming's pretty good. No. But seriously, though, I mean, this Lithic Blade isn't that great, honestly. Half the time, you're only getting, 2 characters at best with its passive, right? So I wouldn't recommend looking at this and be like, oh, I can do a sneaky 10 pull and try and get that. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, this weapon banner is crazy. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be surprised if I saw a lot of people summoning on this weapon banner because it's pretty good, honestly, I would say. So, yeah, once again, just if you have the Natlan characters, feel free to summon for Mav. I think she's going to be the best Pyro DPS in the game and has a shot at being the best DPS in the game. So, yeah, we'll see how well she works then. I'm really excited for when she comes out. I'm going to be honest. I'm I've already got the stream scheduled. We're looking good, I'm going to be honest. I am very, very excited for Mavuika. I might even, you know, top up a little bit more before the update starts, so that way we can have more spending funds, you know. So that's for me to decide and you guys to watch and see what happens. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you really enjoyed the video, consider becoming a member. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Bye.